Africa. I'm Doris Ufwebune.
And as always, I'm Kevin Ufwebune. Now today on Flavors of Africa, we are remembering our roots.
Yes,
now for many people, when they think of a term like this, remembering your roots, they think towards something along the lines of Black History Month or an event that's set aside to remember one's heritage. But I'm saying that you can remember your culture any day of the year and every day. And now with that being said, I'm reminded of a prominent leader that continues to inspire me today, and that would be Nelson Mandela. And I admire Nelson Mandela most because of his peaceful approach to fighting oppression.
Exactly.
As you know, he spent 27 years in prison in South Africa, which is longer than I've been alive, a very long, long time. And essentially, he's South Africa's first Black president, and I do admire him for his peaceful approach, and I think that's one reason why I remember Nelson Mandela today. Another person that I remember is Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Even though he's no longer with us today, we still remember him because...
We still celebrate him.
Exactly, and you know, the effects of his peaceful demonstrations are still felt today, and many people emulate him. So I do remember Dr. Martin Luther King.
He left a wonderful legacy.
Exactly, and speaking about legacies, I also remember Rosa Parks. Now, of course, we can't forget the women that have contributed towards the struggle for equality.
No, we can't.
So I do remember Rosa Parks and how, refusing to sit on the bus, she sparked the interest in the civil rights movement around the world. So I do remember those three people. And that being said, who do you remember?
Well, when I think about remembering your roots, the fire in me is ignited. You know, I feel like I'm being transported to Africa, remembering my parents because they gave me the gift of education. They believe that a girl can have an education. You know, that was very inspiring. The other person that I truly admire was Reverend S.W. Martin of Iseluku, because he came to America many, many years ago.
That's right.
And he studied, and upon graduation, he came back to Nigeria, to Iseluku, our city, and established so many schools and colleges. His primary school, Adam Primary School, was one of the schools that I attended. I mean, without him establishing this very school, who knows? I wouldn't have had an education. So for him to believe that a girl can have an education, that was very inspiring.
Very empowering.
Right? So, and I think about other women that have made a great difference, like Oprah Winfrey, you know, believing that a woman can achieve greatness. So this is really awesome.
You know, but it's sort of a humbling experience, well, at least I find, when we remember those that paved the way for us.
Yes.
And it's very inspirational, and I think that it's important that we take some time out, whether they're political leaders or people in our communities or our families. It's important that we remember them and what they've done for us.
Exactly. And when I keep, you know, I keep mentioning Oprah, I've mentioned Oprah in one of the episodes, because when she told us that her grandmother told her to learn how to wash clothes because her mother, her grandmother were all maids. And she said to herself, no, this is not the life that I have envisioned for myself. I am a woman and I can achieve greatness. And if you look at Oprah today, you know, she has done that. And where they go, Oprah?
Very empowering and very inspirational. I'm really excited for what we're going to be making today. But we're going to take a quick break on Flavors of Africa, and when we come back, we're going to take you to another exotic country. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Flavors of Africa. Today we are remembering our roots. Now before we get into the exotic African country that we're going to explore, we just thought that we'd go over a few emails that we've been getting. We've been getting a lot of feedback from you at home. Again, you can always follow us on Twitter at flavors_Africa. If tweeting is your thing, you can continue to email us at flavorsofafrica@shaw.ca and make sure that you like us on Facebook.
Awesome.
Now with that being said, I will just read off a few messages. Hi, Flavors of Africa. How are you? I do enjoy the show very much. Thank you. I do love the food. It looks great. If you don't mind me asking, and my question is to Doris, can you please tell me where you get your lovely attire from? Do you collect them when you travel? I'm going to Nigeria soon, but I fear I won't have much luck finding them. Please, any tips would be great. Let me know, Christiana.
Thank you so much, Christiana, for watching Flavors of Africa. We really appreciate it. Most of my attire are provided by Flavours of Africa Inc. So they can follow us on Twitter. Or like us on our Facebook.
Exactly.
So stay tuned, and once again, thank you so much, Christiana, for watching Flavors of Africa.
Perfect. Another one, Flavors of Africa. I watched an episode on your show where you made that delicious red stew from Nigeria. I guess that was the rice and stew.
Yes.
You talked about spices that go along with it. You've inspired me to make this dish. But I'd like to know if you have these same spices in the store, it would be a great idea because you mix them uniquely. That's from Ada.
Ada, thank you so much for watching Flavors of Africa. Well, most of the spices that we use, you can find them in the store. However, the authentic African basil is not in the store. So we're trying to find ways to make sure that you, our wonderful viewers, can get hold of this
the spices?
The spice, that's the African basil. So it's in the works. So thanks again. Keep on watching.
That's wonderful. Dear Dorsufe, but I guess this is to you again.
Wow.
I noticed here in Calgary that there are no cosmetics for dark skin. Other cosmetics companies claim that they serve dark skin. Each time I go to the store for cosmetics, the cosmetics that I buy turn chalky and do not represent my skin. Do you possibly know anything about cosmetics for dark skinned women? I know that this has something to do with food, but because the show also reaches out to the African community, I thought I'd ask this question. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Lucinda.
Lucinda, thank you so much as well for watching Flavors of Africa. I understand what you're talking about when you talk about using some products and it turns chalky. Yeah, we don't have many African products in the store. However, we have a vision of beauty that markets all the products that we use. So you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter to learn more about the special products that is really good for dark skin people. So thank you so much for that question because it's very, very important. Yes. When you look good, you feel good. And
it's nice that you continue to give us feedback and questions because Flavors of Africa is for you and it's for the community. So we'd love to hear from you. Again, that's Twitter @Flavors_Africa, or you like us on Facebook, or you can do both, or you can email us if some people just like to email. So awesome. Whatever works for you.
Awesome.
Now, on to the other exciting parts, the food and the culture.
I can't wait.
Exactly. So we've taken you to many parts of Africa. We've been to the western parts.
Yes,
we've been to Nigeria, where we're from, and also Ghana and different countries. We've also visited South Africa, where we learned about certain customs for New Year's that were pretty funny. And we've also been all the way to North Africa, Morocco.
Yes.
Can't forget the couscous, one of my favorite dishes.
Yes,
We even haven't gone to the East yet. East Africa.
Yeah, that's coming soon.
That's coming now. We're going to be visiting the beautiful country of Ethiopia. Now, for many of you that may not know, Ethiopia is located in the Horn of Africa. So that's by other countries like Somalia, Djibouti, Sudan, and now the newly created South Sudan. And it seems like such a beautiful country. I'd really, really love to visit. I've only been to Nigeria, but I would love to see Ethiopia. And another reason why we're going to Ethiopia today is because we're remembering our roots. And with that comes so much history and culture when we think about Ethiopia. So Ethiopia, the capital of Ethiopia is Addis Ababa.
I love the name.
And
it sounds so musical.
It sounds very exotic. Yeah. But I think that sort of goes with certain African countries and languages. I find that things are really musical, very interesting. So again, Ethiopia is religiously diverse. About a third of the people are Muslim. The remainder are mainly Christian.
Wow.
The main language is Amharic. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And the leader of Ethiopia is Zebwani.
Yeah.
I have trouble with saying names sometimes.
But really, you're doing great.
Yeah, and when we talk about those neighboring countries, we also think about the music because Ethiopian music sort of mirrors the music of the countries around them, like Somalia. So if you heard Ethiopian music, you get a taste of Sudan. And that's sort of what we always talk about, how cultures are always mixing, right?
Exactly.
So it just sounds beautiful. Would you like to go to Ethiopia?
Well, of course, I'm going to talk about food because that's what I'm interested in, because I always say that to really understand the culture, you need to consume it.
That's right.
So we're going to cook Ethiopian Njera, which is a flat bread. Njera is made from teff flour, and it doesn't have, what do I say? It doesn't have gluten. It's gluten-free, and it has calcium. So it's an excellent source of vitamin, you know. So that's what we're going to make.
That's
so
perfect.
to begin with, I guess we're going to get our stove started.
Now I'm wondering, because you talked about the flatbread, you know,
Yes.
the injera being a flatbread.
Okay.
And I know that different African countries, they sort of have a variation on that dish, fufu, which
Yes.
has your starch and your soup.
Yes.
So I don't know if this
Well,
is Ethiopia's
it's the same
take
thing.
on
I've
injera.
always say that fufu, which is like pounded yam, is to West and Central Africa, African cooking, what mashed potatoes are to European and American cooking. And also that fufu is eaten all over the world. The only difference is that they call it a different name. Like we call it mashed potatoes in Western world, Njera in Ethiopia, Saza in South Africa, Nshima in Zimbabwe, Ugali in Kenya. So many different names. So staying with Ethiopia, we're gonna get the stove going. I don't want
That's
to
right.
burn down the house. So we have the beef. We're going to use beef today. And the beef is already marinated. You can put it in your fridge overnight. So that's what we did. And we're going to get cooking.
But there's so many interesting things about Ethiopia that I didn't know, in Africa in general. I remember that I told you that I didn't know that Africa even had mountains.
Of course, we have everything in Africa.
And
so that's why I'm here. You're here to tell our viewers
That's
what
true.
Africa is made of.
And you know, I didn't know that Ethiopia has some of the tallest mountains, actually. When I took a look at their history and their
Yes.
land, they have some of the tallest mountains. So I visualize this place in my head, but I can't imagine what it would be like to see it.
Yes. Oh, no, it's a beautiful place.
Unfold.
Okay, what I'm doing right now is
Yeah.
I have olive oil, you know, to start cooking the sauce. Okay, so I have the beef, which was marinated overnight, and I'm gonna just cook it a little bit, and I will bring it out. Notice it's not cooked yet. So I'm going to set it aside because Ethiopian cooking is very interesting. You know, it takes some time, so you're gonna, you know, just take some time to cook it down, and then you get the aroma. So now that I've brought out the beef, the next
Is the
ingredient
onions, is my
that I'm
guess.
going to use is the onions. So this we're gonna cook for 30 minutes. Yes, we need to cook it down before we add other ingredients. So what makes this really Ethiopian is the spice that we have, the berbere sauce, the berbere spice. So that's what is gonna give it the Ethiopian kick. All right. So I'm gonna let this cook down for a while.
Perfect.
You know. So I've visited so many Ethiopian restaurants.
Have you?
You know, their food is really good. I love Njera. And for Njera that we're going to use today, we're gonna thank our wonderful friend from the Marathon
Restaurant here in Calgary.
Here in Calgary, yeah. So thank you for providing us with Njera. So the sauce, we're going to make it ourselves.
Exactly. And did you know that Time magazine actually named Haile Selassie, which is an Ethiopian historical figure, a man of the year in 1 year,
Oh, really?
because of his efforts in World War II. So when we're talking about history,
Yes.
a lot
Awesome. That's
of it
very
has to do with
interesting to know.
Ethiopia and the civilization.
Yeah. So the next ingredient I'm going to add here is the berbere sauce. Okay. So this is what it looks like. So we're gonna, because it's gonna cook down with the onions. So that's how it is.
I love the smell.
So can you smell it already? You know, it looks like I didn't put enough oil, but you know what?
No wahala.
No wahala. You just add it. Okay, and I'm gonna, just give me a second. I'm gonna bring out this sauce out here. So, while this is cooking, we're gonna take a little break. So when we come back, we're gonna talk more about Ethiopian dishes.
and Ethiopian culture. Stay tuned and we'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to Flavors of Africa. Today we're remembering our roots and we've gone all the way to the exotic country of Ethiopia, located in the Horn of Africa. Now when I think of Ethiopia, I think of the music. Not only do I just want to eat the delicious food, but I want to dance as well. Have you heard?
Oh, I love Ethiopian music. Yeah, I attended a party in Winnipeg many years ago, and I still remember it because the music was great. The food was so interesting, so delicious. So before the break, we added the onions to olive oil. Now we've added the tomato, the puree tomatoes. So the next ingredient
Is the meat. I would love to.
Meat. So we're gonna add the meat to the sauce.
Can you smell that?
Oh, it's so.
It smells delicious.
Yeah, aromatic. So we mix it up.
All right, perfect.
So it has all the ingredients simmering. The last thing we're going to add is the garlic. So we add the garlic, and the total cooking time for this is about an hour. So we just simmer it, you know, cover and simmer.
You pureed the garlic.
Yes, I did.
That's perfect.
So,
So instead of putting it into cloves,
Exactly.
you can puree it at home.
Yes,
Perfect.
awesome. So that's what is happening. And so while this is cooking, we're gonna assemble the ready-made Njera. You know, so thanks again to Marathon Restaurant.
Exactly.
Notice the beautiful plate because Ethiopia is colorful. So that's why we are using this beautiful, you know, dish to honor Ethiopia. So we
Wonderful.
have one that was already cooking. So, and again, I forgot to mention that in Ethiopian cooking, they use egg. This is just, it's optional. If you like the egg, you can put it. If you don't, no wahala, don't use it. All right, so.
And that's a boiled egg.
Yes, boiled egg. So this is the finished product. And you notice the Njera serves as a plate in itself. So it's like a plate, so you put all your ingredients and then you use your hand to eat it. So where
Almost
they
like
go,
nachos,
Ethiopia, exactly.
In a way, just to
So,
set up a
so
bit.
this is what it looks like.
It smells delicious.
Awesome, I can't wait. I know you can't wait to try it.
I don't think you have to ask.
I know that.
It just looks delicious.
So this is what it looks like.
And the injera itself, it almost reminds you of like a pancake, a really flat, large pancake.
Yes, 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 it does. So here is the egg.
Oh, wow.
All right. And you know, like I said, that the country of Ethiopia is colorful. So what we're going to do
It's decorated.
is decorate. I have some beautiful cucumber, you know, just to give it a kick.
I think I can get some on my
Yes,
side.
please. Maybe you should do this. Okay, we can't eat African food without talking about the wine. This is from South Africa. You know, South African wine is very famous in the world and it competes with other wines. So this is the amarula. It's from amarula fruit. The tree is grown in South Africa. So we're going to make a South African cocktail. So that's basically what we're going to do.
If we place some in the center, if that's okay, or
Yeah,
we just,
I'm going to let you do your own thing, you know.
you trust me?
Yeah, I do. But for us, before you start serving it, you need to open it a bit. All right, so we have some ice here. So we're gonna add it to the ice. It is really delicious, trust me.
I love cucumbers, so I'd like to continue
Okay,
adding
whatever
more.
you like to do.
Whatever works for you at home, I'm sure.
Exactly,
No wahala.
no wahala. And you can even add a little bit of carrots. So
I
we
would
have
love
the
to.
lemon. To make this drink, you know, special, we have the lemon zest. Once you add the lemon zest, oh my goodness, you don't even want to try anything. So, and when you are grating the lemon, make sure you don't put the back of the inside, you know, the white part, because it will be bitter. So we don't want it to be bitter.
I guess it is really all depends on your taste,
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
When you're dressing it. Oh my gosh, it smells delicious.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm just gonna put a little bit here. So that's what it is.
Perfect.
You
All
know,
for me.
so we're gonna toast before we can eat the food. So
Perfect idea.
cheers.
Cheers. It's looks delicious. And you said again that the eggs are optional.
Yes. So I don't know if we can go ahead and, what do you think? Can we go ahead? You know, we're gonna do what Ethiopians do.
What's that?
We're gonna wash our hands and then we use our hand to eat it.
Perfect.
Because that's, so we can show our audience how it is done.
Sounds great. I'll just grab a napkin.
Okay. So this is how it's done. I was told. You cut a little bit and you take the meat. So I want you to do yours.
All right. I'm used.
Cheers to Ethiopia.
Not very used to eating with my hands. It's very difficult for me, but just tear some off.
Oh my goodness, this is good. I like.
This must be like fufu, like their take on fufu.
So that's their fufu. Awesome, eh? I like it. The spice is really, I think the berbera sauce makes a big difference.
This is phenomenal. It's actually really, really good.
I like. So,
well, I hope that you do try it at home. It's easy. No wahala. It's easy to make. You know, tell us how it goes for you. You can always shoot us an email, flavorsofafrica@shaw.ca, Twitter, tweet us and let us know.
And if you missed anything, you know, the adding of the ingredient, if you're not too sure what goes first or second, please, you know, email us and we'll be very happy to walk you through.
Sounds good. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Flavors of Africa, where we remembered our roots and we went to the beautiful country of Ethiopia. And we're going to continue to take you around the continent in many tasty ways. Continue to watch, and thank you for watching today. Take care.
Cheers again.
Thank you.